Good morning from sunny South Africa. I don't know where this morning's discussion will go, but I do want to begin by reflecting back to last week's article on being foolish or foolishness. And not so much the content of the article, but more about some of the work that I put out, some of the teachings that I do share from my background. Some of them are going to be really, we call advanced, a lot of information, a lot to process, a lot to work through. And in the terms that I would use, a lot to digest. Sometimes people are only just starting on the spiritual journey or the journey into self mastery. So the information can be overwhelming, can be really technical, sometimes a little intellectual. And the one thing that's very important about any information, which I have always taught our students, is information belongs in a landscape. And a landscape is the picture that we have in our mind, where we come from our ideas, from our beliefs, from what we've learned, what we follow, where our faith is, what we trust, forms these landscapes. And the landscapes influence and give value to the actual pieces of information. So, one of the tasks that we have as teachers and healers is to incrementally upgrade the landscapes that people have in their minds. We call this the holographic or the structure of the way everything has come together within the brain or the mind of a person. Because that that mind, along with the soul, the spirit, and all the other components, creates reality. So if we can upgrade the holographic matrix of the mind, people can upgrade their lives. They can create a different reality. So for a lot of my articles, especially last week's one about foolishness, it took quite a few pieces of information and a particular holographic mind of understanding to fully dive into and enjoy what was written there. But for some people that haven't got that sort of structure built yet, that change in reality in its time and space development on a soul spiritual level, um, they will just read whatever they can and gain whatever they can. But I hope to bring in articles that are a little bit more down to earth and palatable, digestible for um, almost everybody. It doesn't matter how long our students have been working with us, and some certainly have been doing work for over 35 years. Everybody in a state of humility can learn anything from anyone at any time about anything. But the key ingredient for that is humility, a willingness and a teachable spirit, a willingness to learn something new as if you've never heard it before. It's an incredible thing to be able to awaken within yourself. Now, one of the other pressures that we face as teachers is the altered ego or the negative ego. Now, I never broad base use the word ego being bad. That is quite nonsense. We would rather call it the altered ego, the part of us that's been altered, that's unnatural, that's now what our ego sees reality through, that altered part of us, very much like a shattered mirror instead of a whole mirror. An ego, in its true positive sense, would be a whole mirror without blemish, beautiful reflection. whereas an altered ego would be a cracked, shattered, broken mirror, which gives us a reflection of many pieces that, although they belong together, don't seem to fit together. So that would be the difference. And a lot of articles, people would certainly read them, listen, or watch. And if they haven't done significant work with the altered ego in forming that new whole self, they will read things through those lenses. Now, I can't help that. I certainly can't stop that. Our teacher once said to us, not even God can please everyone. That is correct. We can't please everyone. But it is my hopes in the forthcoming streams and articles to bring in a lot of understanding. And as people read them, they begin to update the landscapes in their mind. Now, landscapes are very important in our mind. How we hold them. If we take, for instance, just the analogy of a cactus typically belongs in a desert. It has a particular landscape, how much water it gets, how much rain, how much sun it needs, the type and condition of the soil that is optimum for it. It will do miserably and die in a rainforest. So we get the idea that landscape is important. The best of scientists will study the cactus in relation to its environment. They won't just study the cactus on its own. Spiritual knowledge is the same. Any piece of spiritual knowledge can be put in different landscapes, different belief systems, and they can mean different things. And we work with vibrational frequencies, realities, where we upgrade the understanding all the time, so that no matter where we place a piece of information, it changes its truth wherever it's placed in a landscape. There always comes a point with each piece of information where no matter how much we move it up into high frequencies, there will be a frequency where it's at its optimum and it actually can't go any further. So if we do go into high frequencies, that piece of information now is not necessary. It falls away. It doesn't become precious in as we move it. So remember this about all things, all pieces of information, everything your eyes see, everything your ears hear, everything you can touch, smell, sense, taste. If you in your imagination can imagine, is it necessary in other vibrational frequencies, and you'll find a lot of things fall away. Vibrational frequencies fall away. For instance, the physical frequency, I'll use this example for now. In the physical frequency, we have all things that are tactile, that we can see, taste, hear, touch. But if we shift that up into sort of the next band, which would be your infrared or your astral band, we'll call it, a lot of things have fallen away. There's no necessity for those things. There aren't wardrobes of clothing. You don't need to go and put lipstick on. Some people in their flights of fancy will have dreams and that where they go and do that. But there's no physical wardrobes or anything there anymore. It's not necessary at that frequency. And of course, if you go up and up in the light spectrum, less and less that we have here matters there, until nothing at the highest frequencies matters at all. So you have to remember that about information too, about knowledge. It doesn't matter where we get the information and knowledge. There's a good chance a bulk of it has a use-by date. It has a period of time where it's useful in time and space, or it has a dimension, a frequency. Frequencies where it's useful, but then there are frequencies where it's not useful anymore. It's important to have that bigger picture view, because the smaller picture is we fixate or focus on something, a belief, an understanding that holds us, traps us, captures us. It provides a lot of positive things. We have motivation, we have destiny, we believe, we feel safe, we're held, we have community. There's a lot of positives about that. But for some in our audiences, they're looking to get out of the boxes they're in. They're looking for understanding that has grit, that has character, that has depth, and especially the knowledge and information that can travel through densities and frequencies. And typically, the teachers who've made those journeys themselves have within their hologram and within their DNA and their cells, they hold the ability to know know without knowing. They just know. We call it silent knowledge in some terms, where you just know that it belongs there or doesn't. There's no books written on all these frequencies because it's not. It is possible, but it's not possible either. Because there are some things at higher frequencies or vibrations of being that can never come into the written word. They can never come into the spoken word either. They are not allowed to come in here. And why? Well, there isn't someone adjudicating it, sitting, this shall not pass. There's no one doing that. There's no one being judge and jury about knowledge, lowering its vibration into this very dense reality we're in. It's rather the honesty, divinity, and purity of frequency that truly stops some of the higher knowledge from coming in. There's knowledge that can only be imparted telepathically, which again then probably can teach you about why some people can't receive some knowledge. There's no judgment. It's nothing to do with whether they're good enough or not. But there's truly some knowledge that can only be imparted telepathically. So unless a student has developed that ability, there's knowledge they can't receive until they're ready. Truly things come to us when we are ready. And who makes us ready? Well, we do in the best way we can by finding the true knowledge and information, by being honest about where we sit in the journey. Some people think they're very far ahead of where they truly are, and only because people that absorb a lot of information, read a lot of books, think they're a little way further ahead than what they are. But in reality, in their DNA, in their holographic matrix, they're not as far as what they think they are. We are only ever in the now, or in the what we've become. My information or knowledge can seem to go ahead of me. However, where I am and what I've become is the real truth of me, what I own, and what I've been through, what I have accepted, transcended, and conquered within myself is where I truly am. So, you'll find there's a lot of teachers that have a tremendous amount of information and really sound gifted in their, oratory or their spoken word. And they certainly know how to mesmerize a crowd with their personality and their information. From the journey that I've taken, first of all, we learn how to drop the personality. It's not about our egoic side. And the other thing we learn is that unless we've become something, we know nothing. Information is not knowing. You must understand that. And knowing is not wisdom. You must also understand that. There's varying degrees of what we become into wisdom. Wisdom becomes a guided song from even beyond us in relation to us, but where we are. It's a song we sing that is truly, truly wise because it has the ability to see or understand in a 360-degree radius out into futures that still don't exist. And so wisdom from true lips takes that into account, the long picture of that person's present moment. And you'll know them by their vibration, exactly who these people are. I may add a little article beneath this one, going a little further, but this is what I'm sharing for this week as we go along. I have some really beautiful things planned for the weeks ahead. And really great topics of education, helping people to learn the good stuff, learn the stuff that has merit and can carry a person in the long journey into vibrations and frequencies that they become deserving of. You have to deserve the frequency you embody, and you deserve it by becoming deserving, but by becoming that ascended, transcended, different being altogether. So, this is for this week. I truly hope you enjoy it. Pay attention to everything I say. I'm pretty deliberate with things that I paint in your mind. If you're receiving pictures, I don't only speak right at this level. I hold holograms and pictures and frequencies open on many layers so that those that are ready to receive it at that level and can watch the pictures that I'm releasing that are coming into their mind, that they can gain further. Um, so pay attention to what occurs in your being and in your mind when you read and when you listen. There is far more going on than what there appears. I hope today is really a beautiful day for you, and I hope this week brings what you truly desire most. Take care, and until next week.